Greetings once again, my fellow Star Trek fans. I hope you're having a great week, and I'd like to welcome you to another Star Trek video. Fellow Star Trek lovers, fellow modelers, fellow lovers of everything interesting. I'd like to talk today about the USS Enterprise. No, not this lovely lady here. We're going to be talking about the NCC-1701-C. We really only seen her in Star Trek The Next Generation's episode Yesterday's Enterprise, and that just happens to be one of my favorites, if not, now pretty much the favorite of mine from Star Trek The Next Generation. There's a time rift that the Enterprise D is investigating, and from that time rift, a ship emerges, and as soon as the ship emerges, the bridge changes, the officers' uniforms change, and the mood changes. The Enterprise goes from brightly lit to much darker. It's got that fantastic blue kind of light, and it's dark. All the people on the bridge, all the officers are armed, and what happened was the Enterprise C ended up leaving the battle prematurely. She was defending a Klingon outpost against Romulan attack. And what ended up happening, by her going into the past, the Federation was not there to protect the Klingons, and as a result, not so much a direct result of that, but the Federation would be at war with the Klingon Empire, and Captain Picard would actually say that defeat was inevitable. So it was decided that the Enterprise C must go back to her own time period in order to restore the timeline. Once the Enterprise C goes back into her own timeline, the timeline is restored, the bridge goes back to the way it was before, and they leave a probe to monitor the closing of the anomaly. Anyway, my friends, not so much do I want to do a presentation on the history of the Enterprise C, but we're going to be talking about the model kits today. I love doing a little history of the kits. I like sharing my love of AMT models with you guys. This is a recent release. This is the clear plastic, the USS Enterprise NCC1701C from Star Trek The Next Generation. Absolutely beautiful, and this one has the battle damage. And you can see, this is a glue-together model kit from AMT. And you can see the beautiful depiction of her on the cover. And this is the full circle. This is the recent issue of this lovely lady. And what I want to do is I want to go through some of the history of this model kit for you. So let's go over to the desk where there's going to be a lot more light and a lot more room, and we'll take a look at the timeline of the AMT USS Enterprise NCC1701C. Okay, so there's more light and there's more room to show you guys the history line of these model kits. This is 1/1400 scale version of the kit. We're not talking about the polar lights. That's a totally different model. What I want to focus on is the AMT. Again, the 1/1400 scale, not the 1/2500 scale that was polar lights. So what we can do is, let me show you the first model kit, the premiere of the Enterprise C. And let's put this over here for you guys to see. This is the first time as modelers that we see the USS Enterprise NCC1701C. This is from Star Trek The Next Generation, and this is AMT Ertl. And you can see that beautiful picture of her. She's not battle damaged at all. I wish we would see more of this ship. The model, the studio filming model, does make an appearance again in Wolf 359 as a different ship. I'm trying to think of what ship that is. Would it be the Yamaguchi? I'm not sure. I'm probably wrong, but the filming model would also be shown as the Yamaguchi, the Enterprise C, and there might be another ship that I'm thinking of. I'll put it on the screen if I find it. But this is the Enterprise C. This is the premiere edition from AMT Ertl. And this is in 1/1400 scale, although it doesn't really say it on the box. And this is a skill level of 2. So when we look at the ends of the box, you can see this is kit number 8001. And we've got the same illustration that we do on the cover. And we see Star Trek The Next Generation, USS Enterprise NCC1701C. Let me adjust the camera a bit. I think both ends of the box are the same. Yes. USS Enterprise NCC1701C and Kit 8001. When we look at the side of the box, the first side, you can see this was made in Mexico, and this is, let's see, the release date is 1998, from the Ertl Company, Dyersville, Iowa. So this is 1998, and this is the scaled and measured model from the actual Paramount blueprints. Accurate 1/1400 scale model, I guess it does say it. Recessed panel lines and detailed decals from Star Trek The Next Generation. And you got the different languages. And let's see, looks like we have the finished model on the side of the other side of the box. You can see this is pretty cool looking. I like the base. We got the Star Trek The Next Generation base. And you can see another shot of the ship. Now, like the Enterprise D, the C has the windows molded in, but you'd have to drill them out if you want to light the kit. And you can see at the very end, requires glue and assembly. So they don't usually put anything on the back. This is the, it's stamped number 0129. And it says, please retain this address for reference. Recommended for 8 years and older. 6675-3300. And that was the first time we saw the Enterprise C released from AMT. So the AMT model kit. After a few years went by, let me show you guys what they actually released. I was speaking to you guys about the Yamaguchi, and we actually got the Yamaguchi. This is from the Pro Shop, and this is the Star Trek The Next Generation. This is the USS Yamaguchi, and the Yamaguchi is NCC-1701-C. And this is the first time we see the Enterprise C produced in clear plastic. And this kit actually comes with a lighting kit. And those of you that are familiar with the Enterprise D fiber optic kit, it's kind of along the same lines as that lighting kit. There's basically a box, and you put the 4 C batteries into it, and that powers it, and it runs in through a connection at the base, and it lights up the bulbs. You do have to solder in this kit. It does require soldering. It's not like the new Polar Lights plug-in kind of kit. So we got a nice illustration of the Yamaguchi, and it's lit. And again, we have the same problem with the Enterprise D. The lights have to be run through the nacelles. This is actually, I believe this is 2 parts, which makes it better, where the Enterprise D is just 1 piece. So you have to drill, you have to put a channel in, run the wire, and then put some of the putty to clear it out. So let's move the other model, get some room over here, because these boxes are pretty large. So we got the beautiful Yamaguchi on the cover, and if we look at the ends of the box, you can see Pro Shop. When it comes to Pro Shop, as far as I know, this is the only model that they did for Star Trek. Star Trek. I'm not talking about other franchises. I'm talking only Star Trek. As far as I know, this is the only one. And this is the lighted USS Yamaguchi, and it's got the same picture as the cover. And this is kit number 30038. And it's usually the same on both ends of the box. Yeah, the only thing missing is the barcode, so it's basically the same thing. And we look at the side of the box, and this was released in 1999. The Ertl Company, Dyersville, Iowa. And again, this is made in Mexico. And you can see the different languages, and the English scaled and measured model from the actual Paramount blueprints include decals for the USS Excalibur. Lighted portholes and warp nacelles. Okay, so it's the Excalibur I was thinking about. Nice. So the model, the filming model, was the Enterprise C, the Yamaguchi, and the Excalibur. And you can see the, again, Pro Shop, lighted Yamaguchi. Looking at the other side of the box, it does show finished pictures of the model, but it's a little vague. We don't really know if that's lit or not, because the nacelles are not lit. You can see some of the windows appear to be lit, and the model is dark over there. And again, this comes with a little box that powers the lights. And again, on the back, it's please retain this address for reference. And this is stamped number 0539-667533300. So, interesting how they decided to do the Yamaguchi instead of issuing the Enterprise C and making a clear version of the Enterprise C. Although I must point out, if you want to make this the Enterprise C, I do believe that it's got the decals for the Enterprise C as well. All right, so this was released in 1999, and that was the second version of the model mold. So then it takes a little hiatus, and we don't really see the Enterprise C for a while. And then we came to have this one, and of course this is by the time round 2 models had purchased AMT, which I'm very thankful for. They ended up releasing this, and this, for the first time, we actually have the battle damage decals. And see back panel for more details. And this is the Star Trek USS Enterprise NCC1701-C. And it says on the cover, 1/1400 scale plastic assembly model kit. And you can see the AMT. Now this one is not in clear plastic. I got to make a note of that for you guys. The plastic is not clear. It's in colored molded plastic. It's gray. You can see the illustration on the front of the box. And looking at the ends, you can see the lovely depiction, but let's see, it looks like the same. Yeah, it's the same illustration on the side. And this is a skill level of 2. And the other side of the other end of the box is the same. A beautiful Enterprise flying by. Let's see, taking a look at the sides of the box. You can see it's pretty much the same as the ends. Most of the information for the kit now is going to be on the back. So the ends and the sides look pretty much the same. So when we look at the back of the box, you can see the model and look at the decals for the damage. And again, this is molded in gray plastic, light gray. Kit builds to nearly 15 inches in length. Sturdy chrome base with metal support rod. And of course, it's changed. The introduction of the metal support rod with the base, the half-dome base, when round 2 took over. And build your Star Trek kit as pristine ship or use the new battle damage decals, which have been authentically styled after the original filming model. Beautiful. On the bottom you can see collect the entire Star Trek series of kits from AMT. I've shown you this Enterprise D. That was the clear version, and it has the Aztecing decals. I actually want to do a model kit history of the Enterprise D for you guys as well, so look forward to that. You can see the plastic assembly model kit from AMT. Star Trek, USS Enterprise NCC1701C, and this is kit number AMT-721-06. Captain James T. Kirk commanded the Starfleet flagship USS Enterprise NCC-1701. The Enterprise NCC-1701 refit and Enterprise NCC-1701A. The Enterprise NCC-1701B carried Kirk on his final voyage, and generations later, the USS Enterprise NCC-1701D was captained famously by Captain Jean-Luc Picard. But what was the fate of the USS Enterprise NCC-1701C? In Star Trek The Next Generation's episode Yesterday's Enterprise, the Enterprise D encountered a ghost from its own past, as the USS Enterprise C was found adrift in space after being lost 22 years earlier. A disruption in a space-time continuum had ripped the Enterprise C out of the thick of a battle and thrust it into the future, causing a whirlwind of timeline changes. Changes that would leave the Federation hovering on the brink of destruction in an all-out war with the Klingon Empire. Despite having sustained heavy damage to its warp field nacelles, hull bearing struts, and internal space frame, life signs were found aboard the vessel. In order to restore space-time continuum, the Enterprise C and her crew would have to return through the rift and doom themselves to a losing battle. With time stabilized and a peace returned between the Federation and the Klingon Empire, the Enterprise C was forever etched into Star Trek lore, ensuring that history never forgets the name Enterprise. This detailed 1/1400 scale glued-together model kit is modeled in light gray and clear plastic. The bulbs, and builds to a full 14 3/4 inches. The kit includes new battle damage decals based on the original filming model, optional parts and registry decals to create either the USS Enterprise NCC-1701C or the USS Yamaguchi. Along with detailed assembly instructions, the kit includes a display stand with a sturdy dome base and metal support rod to display the finished model. And this kit was issued in 2011. So 2011 release date for this. So we go from 1999 to 2011. And this is the Enterprise C from AMT. And this was the round 2 reissue. Again, if you want to light this kit, you have to paint it, and then you'd have to drill out all of the holes, kind of like the Enterprise D. And the previous release of this kit was in clear plastic for the Yamaguchi, but this is not in clear plastic. I just want to point that out. This does have the battle damage decals, but this does not have the Aztecing. The decals do have the light blue rings that are going to go on a saucer section. However, it does not have any Aztecing at all in this kit. So this was 2011, which brings this kit into the modern modeler's life. So let's move on, and this will bring us full circle. At least full circle for the kits that I have of this wonderful ship. And we've got the NCC-1701C. And this one, they went back to clear plastic. So this is translucent and clear plastic. The USS Enterprise NCC-1701C from Star Trek The Next Generation. Again, this is 1/1400 scale from the Star Trek universe. I just love seeing that. Battle damage decals included. And this is from Star Trek The Next Generation. Love it. Look at that. Beautiful. The Enterprise C looking pristine before her encounter with the Romulans that pretty much sealed her fate. Let's look at the ends of the box. This is AMT kit number 1332M-12. This is a glue-together model kit in 1/1400 scale. And I think both ends of the box are going to be the same. Yep. And let's take a look at the side. Let's see again. Where's the release date? I mean, this was 2020, I believe. Or 2022. 2022 release. Models shown on packaging have been professionally assembled and finished by James Small. Smallartworks.ca. And again, this is AMT 1332M-12. September 12th of 2022 for version 1. Okay, so let's take a look at the other side of the box. You can see when the timeline changes and it goes to that more serious. Notice how the officers are all armed. And you can see the beautiful, beautiful Enterprise C. And Denise Crosby was back in this timeline. Tasha Yar incidentally goes back with the Enterprise C, and you can see that's her going back to her own timeline. While investigating an unusual radiation anomaly, the Enterprise has encountered what could almost be called a ghost from its own past, the Enterprise NCC-1701-C, Captain Jean-Luc Picard. That, of course, was in his log. And let's take a look at the back of the box now. And you can see the finished model is 15 inches long. Now, I know what you guys are thinking, at least what I would be thinking. This is 1/1400 scale, and this is exactly the same kit, the same molding as the previous, but the previous kits were 14 3/4 inches. So where does that extra 1/4 of an inch allowance come from? I'm thinking because they probably just rounded off to 15 inches long. And you can see the picture of a finished model. Again, that looks so nice, and you can see some of the lights are on. So the whole thing is clear. So what you would do, at least what I would do, is we paint the whole thing with like a chrome. Let's see, do I have that offhand? Offhand I don't have it. Oh, yes I do. So I like to paint the chrome when I'm going to light something. So what I would do is I would paint the entire outside of the ship. You know, it might almost be easier putting all the wiring in place, lighting the kit, and then building the model. And certain areas would be masked off, like obviously the nacelles, the Bassard collectors, and the sides. The deflector dish would be masked off, and then paint the whole model. First with the coat of the reflective paint, and then with the coat of the finish coat, or primer and then the finish coat. Again, doing a whole model. And then removing the masks that would show the clear plastic. And we would actually paint the clear plastic, because we could put the red lights in, but I don't think it would be the same. It would be a lot easier just to paint the Bassard collectors red, clear red. Let me show you. I think I have that with me. Yep. I do like this. This is the testers, as well as the clear blue. That works really well. So we would probably be easier to paint those and then mask them to paint the whole thing. That's probably what I would do. And then when everything is painted, remove the masks, and then using a micro drill, what I would do is I would go and drill into each of the window openings just enough to take the paint off. Not necessarily to go all the way through. At least that's what I plan to do with this. You can see the translucent plastic, clear plastic, light kit not included. And as far as I know, there is no light kit available for this model. And you can see the decal sheet. Water slide decals include for the USS Enterprise NCC1701C, the USS Yamaguchi NCC-1701C. Battle damage decals included, and you can see the sheet, the decal sheet. Now I've shown you guys this model kit because we're going to be doing this build. So this one is for, I wanted to get one of these, another one that's sealed just for the history video with all the other model kits. So if this looks familiar, we are doing this build. And it includes the dome base from Star Trek: The Next Generation. In the Star Trek: The Next Generation episode Yesterday's Enterprise, the Enterprise D encountered a ghost from its own past as the heavily damaged USS Enterprise C emerges and disrupts the time continuum from 22 years earlier. In order to restore the space-time continuum, the Enterprise C and the crew must return through the rift and doom themselves to a losing battle in a war with the Klingons. Wait a minute. The Enterprise C and her crew must return through the rift and doom themselves to avoid losing a battle in a war with the Klingon Empire. She has to go back to prevent the Federation from losing a war with the Klingon Empire. But we got to point out, the NCC-1701-C does not fight Klingons in their own time period. It's the Romulans. I just wanted to clarify that. The Enterprise C was forever etched in Star Trek lore, ensuring that history never forgets the name Enterprise, so it's pretty much similar to what was on the last release of this model kit. You can see the pictures of the finished model. And this model kit actually brings the series of kits to this point anyway. This is 2022, April, and as of right now, this is the most recent NCC-1701 model kit. So we got 2022. And we go back 2011. And then we go back, all the way back to 1999. And all the way to the beginning with the mold when it was first created to 1998. So we've got the Enterprise C in all her glory. From 1998 to 2022, I've shown you 4 model kits. As far as I know, again, I'm talking about releases in this country, from AMT, available to us in the United States. As far as I know, it's these 4 kits. If I see anything else, I'll put up a reference to the kit. But when it comes to the 1/1400 scale USS Enterprise NCC1701C from AMT, I believe these are all the kits. So my friends, I hope you have as much fun watching these model kit history videos as I do making them. And they're really fun. I love doing this. And I love sharing my passion for AMT models. I absolutely love that model company. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a video on the Enterprise D. And we're going to do a little history on the series. I just got to get a couple of model kits, the earlier ones for the D, just to make the history timeline complete. But until that time comes up, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll talk to you soon.